get right to it. I have a couple questions that I had prepared, if you don't mind, for some things that I think that our agency could use and some things that the majority of us would like to know, if that's okay with you.
Whatever y'all want, you got it, whatever you need.
Okay, perfect. So we have a ton of agents on our team that are doing so well, a bunch of brand new people getting into the industry, people that are trying to grow their team. And there's obviously a difference between, as a producer, you get in, you get started, you figure out that 7 to 10K mark. And then it's getting, how do I get from 7 to 10K to the 30, 40K a month? That really makes a difference, right? And then from an agency building standpoint, you come in, you recruit some people, you're starting up, you get to that 100, 200K. Now I'm like, how do I get to that 5, 7, a million? What is the difference between kind of those two categories? And for those of us who want to go from that, hey, I kind of got this thing figured out, to I want to go really high level, how do we make that transition?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. If you were to ask me either one of them, like what makes somebody a great producer, and I say a great producer, 30, 40, 50, 60 grand a month and plus, or makes them a great builder of their business. If you gave me reasons or characteristics for both, they'd match up, right? You'd say stuff like, man, they got a great mindset. They invest in their business. They're leading by example. They're growing as a salesperson, and I could go on and on and on. I can tell you that for me, what I've seen is the magic in building something is you do it when you don't want. Like 98% of us are good when shit's good. We're just good. Like, dude, we're good. Like, life's good. Like, some of you right now, you're having a really good day. Some of you right now are having a really shitty day. Some of you are in the middle. You're like, I don't even know if it's good or not. Dion's like, it might be good, it might not. Caden's like, I don't know. Is Caden stuck? He don't move. That's impressive. He's like one of the mannequins in that thing. There we go, Caden. He's just like this. He's locked in. He's like this. But you don't know if it's, you don't know what people are going through. The magic for me, Marissa, to be straight up and going from 10K to 30, 40, 50, or taking your team from $150 to $1 million, you've already done the hard work. Like, the hardest work is any momentum. So if you were to ask me, is it going to be harder for Dez to get to $1 million than it was to get to 150? No, it'll actually be easier. Now, it'll require a lot of repetition and a lot of consistency. And then Dez will do it when she doesn't feel like doing it. The only magic mindset wise I got is I'm going to do it no matter what. It's not magical, but if you're like, there's never been a day I didn't do it. It doesn't matter what's going on. There's never been a day. Doesn't matter to me. Like, unless they cut my head off and it rolls down the street and I can't put it back on real quick, I'm still going to do it. Doesn't matter to me. Broken legs, broken arms. Because also, like, I know most everybody else won't, and I wanted my advantage. So I think top producers and top builders and top managers, they're so consistent. Consistency gives people a peace of mind. Consistency energizes leadership and creates leadership. Consistency creates great culture, and consistency creates this environment where everybody believes they can win. The thing about, I'm just consistent. Like, the biggest thing about the call, I was talking to a guy today, he's 21 years old. And he's like, man, I gave this guy, whatever the guy's name was, $2,000 to mentor me for an hour. And I go, dude, why would you do that? That was my first question. And he's like, well, I just thought it would help. I said, based on what? Like, what did you, so like when you're trying to build yourself as a producer, a leader, anybody, why did you believe that would help? You didn't vet it. You didn't ask. You didn't have the courage to ask. You brought up earlier, Marissa, those top people only listen to top people. Let's say that Dov, if that's how I pronounce his name, I don't see how I can mispronounce it, D-O-V, and Michelle, let's say Michelle does 50K a month and Dov does 5K a month. I don't dislike Dov, but I'm never speaking to Dov ever. Never. Now, if he's like, you know where the bathroom is? Yeah, it's down the hall. But I'm consistent like that. I never deviate. Then if he's like, hey, do you want to get some lunch? I'm like, no, bro, I don't need to go backwards. I already do more than you. I'm not mad. Thanks for the offer. I have my own money. But Michelle, you're doing 50K a month. Can I buy you some? I'll Uber Eats it to the office. Like, I want to know what you're doing. So people that get to a high level, they only want to learn. And they want to learn from people at a high level. Now, they're not emotional either. What I mean by that is I'm not mad at Dov. Unless Dov keeps going like, hey, bro, let's go to lunch. I'm like, bro, knock it off, bro. Now you're starting to upset me. Like, we're totally all good. We're friends. But I'm not going to waste my time. And that's what top people don't do. And a lot of you, with all due respect, you do it. You talk to everybody because we're taught to be peaceful, and good culture doesn't mean that we all lie to each other. It doesn't mean that. That doesn't work. Believe me, I know it doesn't work. Don't do that. If somebody's not doing what they need to do or where you want to go, stay locked in. So, Marissa, I see top producers, they start to believe in themselves. The consistency gets them to believe in themselves. Like when you look at Dominic Scalise, I just think he just kept doing it. And the consistency said to him, I didn't die. I didn't go broke. I didn't get in trouble. I'm still here. I'm making money. Wait a minute. I made $5,000 this week. Now I made $5,000 every week for a while. Now I'm making $7,000. Now I'm making 10. And all of a sudden your belief level, we have this mental capacity psychologically where we unfortunately are very pragmatic. We're also very pessimistic by nature. And I'm not going to get into the science behind it because my master's degree was a long time ago in psychology. But we overwhelm our mindset with our consistency. That's the only way we can do it, because if we're inconsistent and we try to negotiate with ourselves, Caden, we're going to lose because there's just so much bringing us down, the world, life, the whole deal. So they're crazy consistent. They're also big on the culture of what they got. Like when you get into your Zoom dials and you're like, here are the Zoom. And Andrew's like, man, we should have rules. And I was like, yeah, bro, like culture's good. Like, hey, man, here's the structure. Here's the rules. Here's what we're going to live by here because we want you to be successful. And I think they have the courage to ask the tough questions. Good producers, when somebody says something like, I'm all set, they don't go, have a nice day. They ask whatever you ask. What do you mean by all set? You know, so I had a guy the other day and I heard him talking. I'm like, God, I love that. I was always saying that. He's like, so just call me back on the day before your date of death. Like they have the courage to just ask questions. Why are you treating me this way, Tom? You're the one that filled this out. I'm confused. Why are you like they're courageous and bold. And as leaders, when they're building their business, they do the exact same thing. You know, I was mentoring a guy today and he's like, man, I crushed it this month. I said, no, you didn't. This dude crushed it this month. He's 98% of your business. Bro, winners don't head fake themselves. They don't. Like when I play ball, if you're like, man, we played well today, I'm like, dude, they suck. We steamroll them, but they suck like really, really bad. So yeah, we won, but they're awful. We didn't play a good game. Like I'm honest with myself. If we played a good game, we played a good game. I'm cool. So I really think that when you look at that, Marissa, that's what separates top producers, top managers, and they believe. You can't convince them otherwise. Like there are people that say things and you don't believe they believe. They're like, I'm going to do $88 million in a day. You're like, all right, bro, like calm down. When I said we would at Family First Life be $1 billion company in 10 years, I meant it. Now I failed. We didn't hit $1 billion in our first 10 years. Here's the thing though, Jamie, you know what insurance company issues $1 billion a year in America? There isn't one. Not one life insurance company. There's PNC. There's people that do conglomerates of all kinds of stuff. There's not one life insurance company in America that issues $1 billion a year. But 10 years ago, my dumb ass, or 11 years ago, was sitting in Connecticut, Uncasville, Connecticut, throwing full Diet Mountain Dew cans at Mike Sizer's head because he upset me and he can't catch, screaming and yelling, shooting guns in a parking lot, doing stupid stuff because we're idiots. And we're talking about doing $1 billion annually. And this month, we just hit a number. We're like, dude, if we can grow by 7-8%, we'll be trending to hit $1 billion. Maybe it won't be it wasn't year 10, 11, 12. But everybody around me believed because I believed. And it wasn't as we had these crazy goals. We were consistent. You can work with me for a year or for 12. I show up every day. I show up. And that's a big part of the deal. Mendez, when you're talking about attitude, that's what separates the top people, right? Because you talked about in your promotion staying grounded. I think also top people stay grounded. I think top people don't do this. That's an awful way. How exhausting for those of you that will be honest is this when your business runs like this? Monday, it's the greatest thing that's ever happened in the history of the world. You can't even believe it. And Tuesday, you're half suicidal. And then Wednesday, you're like, dude, I don't even know if I'm dumb. And then Thursday, you're like, I'm going to be rich on Saturday. And then you want to quit on Friday. That's no fun. Because this is what I held on to in building a business. 100% of the people, and I use this when you're recruiting, you do what you want to do. 100% of people I hired, 100% could, with zero doubt, spend $1,000 on leads and never lose any money. With zero doubt that every one of you that spent $1,000 on leads, as long as you called them, even if you were tripping on yourself, coughing up a lung, if you're half drunk, half high, say stupid stuff, you're by accident, if you call enough people, going to make a sale. You're going to get too many leads. And then if you know you're going to break even, what's the worst thing that can happen? But again, if you ask me, every business I've ever opened, real estate, construction company, waste management, life insurance, I didn't make money for 3 years. Now, I did really well, but I put every dollar back into it so you guys wouldn't have to. The real estate agents at my company made more money than me the first 3 years. They'd be like, this sucks. I'm like, hey, listen, I just kid. I'm like, Max, one more time you tell me it sucks. You make 400 grand a year, fool, and I pay myself 40. Like, I'm going to smack the taste out of your mouth. I ain't making no money, man. So you got to be consistent. I know it's a very long answer to your good question, but that was my answer.
No, that was great. And it actually kind of brings me to, I mean, you mentioned it a little bit with staying grounded and staying level headed, but I want to talk about that too, because you have been in the business now, what, we're going on year 12 of the company?
12 in December. Yep.
12 in December. And you are still working the same as you always have. I mean, obviously you're showing up for us tonight. You don't stop. A lot of times you see some producers or some managers that they get good and then it's been a couple months or it's been a year, it's been 2 years, and all of a sudden it's like, how many Lamborghinis can I buy? So how do you also, when things start going really good, how do you stay grounded and stay consistent and keep doing what you need to do and not get distracted by all the things you can buy and places you can go?
Well, I listen, that's, to be really honest, and y'all don't want me to bullshit you. I didn't build my business to buy cars. Like, I'm a grown up. I built my business to have financial freedom, to take care of all my responsibilities, to be able to genuinely give back. And then I wanted to help a bunch of people do the exact same thing. So for me at year 12 or day 12 or month 12, there's still people. There's people that started today and wrote a new app, new policy, right? There's their first app. You had a list of people, I don't remember their names. They had their first app. They ain't got theirs yet. So what, I quit because I got mine? I'm good, so I got to get mine. And also, if we don't have purpose in life, we become pretty shallow and dangerous. I've not met a lot of people that don't work at all that are happy. I just haven't. I've seen a lot of people that don't work, and I'm like, I don't even know what they do all day long. And then they can't explain what they do all day long. It's just weird. You have to have some kind of purpose in your life. And I think where we fail as people is we don't confront that. If Sarah recruits me and Sarah doesn't work, that's Sarah's business. It ain't my business. She don't have to work. But what Sarah can't do is expect anything out of me. She can't ask me any questions. She can't give me any advice. But a lot of y'all just, you just go like, well, that's what he said. I'm like, and I'm argumentative by nature and confrontational by nature. Like, I have problems. I like, if Dov or got to pick the dude like Stanley, like Logan, even if Logan with the blanket, like he got a blanket, he's chilling, bro. I like that look. That's a good look right there. But like, I'm serious. Like, do you, bro? If they're mad at me, I'm like, bro, don't, because I'm trying to protect what I'm building here. I stay grounded by I'm protecting what I'm building. And why in the world, and it's funny because people say this all the time. I would do this. I'd kill to take care of my mom. I'd kill to take care of my kids. I'd kill to give back to but they don't work. So Marissa, I don't know how to, and I'm probably not, I don't know how to turn it off. So like, I've probably been more ever than in my life because I used to sleep like 2 hours and 12 minutes a night. And then that's not good for you, obviously. And like, I'm not supposed to do that. It's like, you gotta sleep more. I'm like, okay, I'll sleep more. But I like, dude, I love what I do. Like, we got a really cool industry here, man. We get to help people protect in the darkest day in the event of a death, middle American people who like really need our help, and then we get to help people make money doing it. Why would we not be excited? But the epitome of selfishness is I got mine, I'm good now. You know, people ask me, like, I don't share this much, not because it's like, there was a guy named Mike Rooney. I don't even know if Mike's alive. I hope he is. Great human being. Crazy mother father from New Britain, Connecticut, Polish dude, nuts. He worked where I worked at the state. If Mike is alive, he's 85, 87. I'm working at the state of Connecticut. I'm a young dude making a mess of shit. And he pulls me aside and he said, do you want to have a career here? I'm like, dude, I'm 21 years old, bro. I'm just like, he said, I'm going to give you some advice. He said, if you don't stop partying the way you do, smelling like booze in the morning, coming in the clothes you've been wearing for 2 days, blood on your sweatshirt because you got in a fight with some dude, that's really mature. You're never going to go anywhere at this. But I respected him because the dude worked his ass off and he had the courage to look me in the eyes and tell me that. Now, I didn't quit partying then, but 7 years later, I still worked with him. And he was honest with me. We don't do that with people because and sometimes we don't care. We kind of like them failing. I don't like that. Even if I don't know you, I don't want to see, why I want to see Courtney fail or Blake fail. Like, if I don't even know you, why would I as a human being go, yo, they're jacked up. Like, they're screwing shit up. Like, why would I want that to happen? I'm like, hey, man, it might not be my business. I can keep you alive in this business, but here's what I'm seeing. Like, what do you want to do? So I really think that we need to be really focused on that to be crazy successful, stay grounded, do the things that we need to do.
I love that. That's huge. Okay. So we have done a transition moving into a lot of index universal life. We still help a ton of families, final expense, mortgage protection. Obviously, we do it all thanks to the model that you've created and blessed us with. Now, there's going to be people that have an opinion, right? IULs are good. This one's like IULs are bad. This one's like, final expense. Don't do this. Do whole life, no do term. Because we have a lot of new agents on here, what can we do and how do we know that we're putting our clients in the best spot? And what training should we be doing to make sure that our clients are always getting the best product for them since we have so many?
That's a great question. First of all, I want you to remember this. When we started, we didn't do much IUL. We had final expense, we had mortgage and then final expense and eventually IUL, but our IUL was fully underwritten and took 6 months to place. So we weren't really excited about writing it because you didn't even know, like, you met him in December and you come back in June. That wasn't going to work, Des. That was just a bad business plan. But what I knew about our clients, and you need to understand this because everybody has an opinion on everything. Okay. When you're talking to a client, new agent or not, they filled out a form for a reason. You should figure out what was on their heart and mind when they filled the damn thing out. Okay. I have sold policies to people that are like, I only do term. My grandpa told me term's good. That's all I'm going to do is term. Why am I going to argue with dude for 15 minutes and try to sell him something? That's delusional. I want to cover my final expenses. Well, sir, you can get, like, I need to meet you where you are. And the vast majority of our clients have no life insurance or don't have any, they know they don't have enough. So anything we put, we're benefiting them, right? Don't outthink your situation. I have some simple rules. If you're below the age of 50, like from a health standpoint, you're healthy, term, IUL, cool. If you're above the age of 50, now there's some simplified issue IUL products a little bit different. You got to decide what's best. Now, if the guy goes or girl goes, hey, no matter what you say, I want this product. If you work at the dealership and the person comes in and says, I am not buying a truck, I'm buying a car. And you go, but I like trucks. I'm going to sell you a truck. Dude's like, I want a car. Like, I just want a car. I want to drive no, you want a truck. A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. He's not gonna, like, he don't even want it. So as long as you're not lying, it's a really simple rule, man. Tom, here's what you got. What if I got this? You would get this one. It would go forever. This one, here's the way it's illustrated. Here's the way it funds. Here's what the potential is and what it isn't. As long as you're brutally honest with the client, you can't fail. I don't ever sit back And you've seen me, the phone rings. I got people calling me 15 years later. I'm like, what's, and sometimes I weirdly remember them. I don't ever go like, oh my God, what are they going to say? I know what I told them. They don't go like, well, you told me. No, fool, I told you that UL policy you bought, you had to overfund it. And I told you the minimum guarantee how many years it was. No, I did not. And weirdly enough, as an agent, the more direct you are, like I made a lot of sales when people were trying to convince like I'd meet somebody and go like, dude, like, damn, I didn't, like, you have all the medical stuff. Cool. Yours is only going to be $482 a month. $482. I'm like, yeah, dude, can you believe with all your medical issues? And no offense, I would never give you the policy if I own the insurance company. It's only $482 a month. Well, this guy told me this. Well, he was afraid. You want full coverage. You want 50K. Here's all it's going to take because you have heart disease, cancer 3 years ago. Here's your height and weight. It's only, and I'd write it. And they liked me because I was direct and honest with them. So I think you kind of figure out, and I used to do that, trying to figure out when they fill it out. The guy's 52. What's he looking for? Hey, I got a mortgage, Shawn. I got 150 grand. Hey, I heard about your return of premium. I want to get the money back. If somebody wants a return of premium for their mortgage and it's $180,000 benefit, I get it. It's exactly what they want and they pay it. I do not try to talk them out of that. This is weird. Now, if they go, I don't really know, what are my options? Great question, Tom. I got term, goes as many years, get your money back. I got a whole, and then it all really depends on the age. You're not selling a whole life policy unless somebody's really ill if they're that young. So I think, please remember that your job is to figure out their pain point and then be in charge. What's the pain point? I tell my clients, dude, you're not, everything's okay, but it's like there's a dam and there's a hole in the dam. The whole thing didn't fall apart. Armageddon's not here, but it's leaking. I'm just going to fix the hole. Every night you get ready to go to bed, or a lot of nights, you think about this. You thought about it enough to send us something. My job is to give you that peace of mind. That's all I am, is the peace of mind provider. That's what I do. I come in, give you peace of mind. I get you taken care of, give you peace of mind. When there's going to be a death, and there will be at some point in time, put it in the drawer, put it away, don't look at it. But Marissa, you really got to figure out, what were they looking for? Now, do I love IULs? I love tax-free retirement. Yes. I think there's a great book by Patrick Kelly that you should read. I think you should understand the product. It's simple, but you should understand the tax-free retirement concept. Now, it made a hell of a lot more sense to me when I wrote my first one on myself at 36 than when you get older, but you really got to understand that. But a lot of times I see people talk themselves out of sale because they think they're so smart. If Des decides that they want a term policy, why would I not sell her one? Now, if she goes, what's this other thing I heard about? Cool, I'll educate you on that. And there's plenty of great training. Don't overtrain either, please. Paralysis by analysis. Our clients are not enamored by your guys, whole life pays till the day they die. I mean, that's pretty, right? Term is however many years in your money back. Index universal life is going to illustrate what your no lapse guarantee is, and if you fund it by a certain amount, what it looks like. And you should look at it every year when the money comes in, tax-free retirement. When the money comes in, we get a statement every year. You can look at it, and then you can kind of go from there and figure it out. That's what I told my IUL clients, which was a really good way to stay in business with them. Hey, guess here, Dion, every year when it comes in, we're going to look at it. See, I still got mine from my first one I wrote 15 years ago. They send me the statement. I look at my cash value. I see if I overfunded or not. I see how it's performing. Like, as long as you're direct and honest with the clients, they're going to be ecstatic to be in business with you. You don't got to know everything, and it's not that complicated either. And it's okay to say, let me check, let me look into that. But I will tell you this, if somebody gives you the information, the thing I was really good at, and why people wanted to help me, is you only had to answer a question for me once. I never asked the same question twice. And that's how I got that, like watching film, playing ball. My coach had no problem going, you were supposed to be an A gap right there one time. But if next week I'm like, hey coach, he's like, hey dumbass. That's the exact same, like, don't do that to me again. And I was like, all right, so I pay attention. I asked one time, if I can't remember, I write it down, commit it to memory. So if somebody says, when they say this, you say that, don't ask them again in a week. Don't not do what they said. And you know what? It might be uncomfortable for you to say when you filled it out, or here's the 3 different kinds of insurance, whatever your deal is. If you got a veteran lead and they wanted final expense, you're probably going to start there. If it's more money and they're going to get something forever and the client goes, does this one last forever? If you know the whole life lasts forever, which it does, and they want peace of mind to last forever, which is what they want, why would you try to sell them something else? Doesn't make any sense to me. And if they try to, you can definitely talk to them. If they go, that's just what I want. I now that I've heard about it, I saw an ad online. Cool. But Tom, let me give you the good and the bad with that. As long as you do that, I miss selling life insurance. People ask me all the time, you love running the company. I envy you guys. I know it sounds really stupid. My favorite part in this business by far is the clients. Now, we used to get to walk around, step on Cheetos, see an 84-year-old use the bathroom and not close the door. Like, the bathroom's there. You should close the door, bro. I can see you. Don't know why you're using the bathroom in front of me, but I guess so. Like, I enjoy the craziness. I enjoy the kids running around the house. I enjoy these two arguing, like, because it's real. It's real life. Husband and wife coming home, arguing. He's 8 beers in. I'm like, thank God they don't test you when it's like, that's awesome, man. That stuff I miss. I love those client interactions. So that's my best advice on what you should do when you're servicing the client, writing the best product, understand the difference, and don't confuse yourself. And by the way, if you give them options and no direction, there's no sale. You're going to confuse them. Be in charge, be presumptive, look at the lead. I'd write on my lead. I was like, all right, 42-year-old, they fill this out, return of premium, whatever. Okay, IUL maybe over here, final expense. Like I was already, hey, well, what Shawn explained to me, well, there's whole life, there's IUL, there's term, I write all 3 of them. And I could even write them out or talk to them about it. But you guys have the leads now. Our leads were general life leads. I didn't know what they wanted. There was just date of birth, man. They didn't even have a product. So we had to do a lot of, you guys already have IUL lead, final expense, vet lead. Maybe there's some term mortgage leads, general life leads in there. If they already started an app with Ethos, then, go ahead and write them an app with whoever you want. And by the way, just because they started with Ethos doesn't mean they need to finish with Ethos. So hear me. They can finish with Americo. They can finish with Mutual. They can finish with NLG. They can finish with Corebridge. Follow what I don't say. You can finish with anybody you want. And that's how I do it with the insurance carriers. You want to be entertained, come to the carrier panel. You'll see who's good and who's not. And I don't even pull no punches. I don't care who they bring in there. I will talk to them straight about what they do good, and I will confront them on the shit that they don't do well for us and tell them they better fix it. And you got to do the same thing to yourself.
Love it. Well, thanks so much, Shawn. I'm going to ask one more. I know we're almost out of time here, so I'm going to ask you a quick one. If you have time before you get off. But so for the people here that are building an agency, right? You saw when you got on our Zoom, we just implemented some stuff where it was like, these are kind of the expectations we want to have. Everyone grows their agency different. So they have, you're trying to create culture, you're learning yourself. You're also trying to manage people who are independent. So that's kind of hard sometimes too. So as you're building an agency, you're putting in your expectations and you're trying to create your culture. How do you know if you're being a good leader with what you're doing, or if you're like, hey, people actually hate this? Like, what is your advice for managing people who are independent? I mean, really.
Yeah, great question. You said earlier, it's not mandatory. You said earlier about meetings, and you are right. Years ago, most everything was mandatory. Now, while I say that, the first year we launched the company, we were like, it's kind of like the ship is bumping into everything. We don't know if we have fuel. We definitely don't have a GPS. And yeah, so we had to have a lot of mandatory. With a lot of chaos comes a lot of mandatory. You come in a situation, shit's really screwed up, a lot of mandatory. Bro, you get there, sit down. Like we got to figure this thing out. Now, Marissa, you have to watch the people. I see people, there's things I can say that if somebody else says it, people don't receive it well. You go, well, you're in charge. That's not why they don't receive it well. No. There's other people they would receive it well from. First of all, have you earned the right to provide structure? Have you earned with your team the right to provide structure? Are you working hard? Are you making a difference for them? And are you selfless with the advice that you provide? Like, are you there for them, not for you? If you're doing that, and are your rules and your structure and your suggestions, are they based on making them better and the team better, or are you doing it just to be in charge? Because those that can't manage micromanage. I don't micromanage. I was saying that today to Nick, not to Pompile. Is I say it right? Pompile. I was getting it wrong. But I had Nick in, and I'm like, dude, you've got to understand, like, as you're looking at this thing, you have to decide, like, where are you getting your information from? Who's providing the rules? Are you keeping yourself, are you keeping yourself in check? And are the people you're listening to providing that support to you? Because there's nothing more frustrating. And he said this to me. He goes, well, I'm selling. How do I recruit? And I loved his question. So what do you mean? He goes, well, I don't want to take my foot off the gas on sales when it comes to recruiting. And that's part of the struggle. I said, well, Nick, one of the things I learned was, dude, let people be independent. The minute we start thinking we can't hire these people because we're going to have to spend too much time doing their job for them, that's not what we do. We have a great system here. We did not have a great system 12 years ago. We have a great system here. We have all the training you can imagine. We got leads everywhere. You got dial days everywhere. But some people, maybe it's some of you, maybe not, you like to be in charge just because you like to be in charge. And you micromanage. Honestly, can I be honest? Is it okay? It's a cool car, Marissa, like I said earlier, because you're an asshole. You talk down to people because you're an ass. Oh God, the baby heard me. Don't listen, Bethany. Don't let the baby hear me. You doing that for no reason. And that's what that coach that got in my face about film, I respected him. He worked hard and he cared about me. That guy could have said anything he wanted. I had a basketball coach that would say, he'd ask me to get man, can you get that basketball across the gym? I was like, no, I ain't getting that basketball. Fuck, I don't know. You don't need me on a team. I'll quit. I hate basketball. It's just drinking season in between football and baseball. You need me. I knew he didn't care about me. And I knew he wouldn't throw me off a team because he needed me. So I'm in this place where you have to understand that the rules and the structure, dude, they better come from the right place. I don't make a comment, and doesn't mean I don't screw them up. I've said this. I say it to Dominic, talk about the book, but I've said that to them because I'll go there and blow stuff up for no reason. And I think I'm doing the right thing. And then sometimes I'm like, my intentions were good, but the result, my intentions were good, but I probably misread the situation. But I wanted to see him win. But you know what? I'm okay and going like, hey man, I didn't I didn't mean that. And the last thing I'll say to that, Marissa, is what a lot of folks do is they're the leader or the manager. They become everybody's friend. When you become everybody's friend, I'm not mad at you, but Dion, if me and you are boys, we're friends, we're tight, we do. And there's nothing wrong with us liking each other. But all of a sudden now you try to give me advice. I'm like, bro, but all week we just bullshit cut up. We don't really do. We just talk all the time. What are you talking about? And all of a sudden on Friday, you're like, yo, we need to get serious. I'm like, what do you mean you need to get serious, bro? Like, we've been doing this. What are you talking? Who are you? And all of a sudden we don't establish those boundaries because we didn't work hard enough to do it. And then we overreact and you can't get emotional. People not doing what you think they should be doing, that's their right. Now, if they start asking you for help and ask you for support and ask you questions, you have every right to say, hey, you know what? Listen, man, but time out here, bro. Like I'm good, Caden, but every time I give you advice, you don't do nothing anyway. Why do you keep asking me? I'm not mad at you, but why do you keep asking me? And also, even the way I talk, if you see your nonverbals, your communicative ability, I'm not doing it I want you to do well. All I want is everybody to succeed. I hope you do better than I ever did. Hope you're like, man, that took that guy this many years to do it. I did it. I'd be like, good for you, bro. I'd be the first one to be like, he did it faster than me. I'm happy about that. But you really got to ask yourself, the rules I'm putting in place, the structure I'm putting in place, the advice I'm giving, am I doing it unemotionally? Because I should be. And by the way, when you're emotional, everybody shuts you out anyway. So when you're like at a 10 over something that's a 3, nobody pays attention. And also through text, like you group text, like through group text. If I'm angry, I'm going to pick the phone up and call you. I'm not like, I'm calling you. I'm like, what? Like, I'm not, because anything emotional through text and email never plays out well because you assume it's even worse than I just don't know how that's leadership. We don't lead through attacking people through group text. And also, it's okay to let people be. Is it hard? Yeah, because here's the deal when you're in charge. And I've said this a million times. When people do well, they give you way too much credit that you really didn't deserve. Like I didn't. If you go, like I'm looking at numbers, like Digna's 9. If Digna goes to $4 million a month and she's like, man, Marissa's the best. And this one, and it doesn't mean that Marissa is awesome. She deserves all the credit in the world. But like Digna went and did the work. And then all of a sudden, if Digna didn't do it, then she's like, Marissa's terrible. It's like, no, Marissa was never like the only answer, and she wasn't the problem. Like she's providing structure, leadership, and support. And Digna's the last person that would do that. So she's probably a good example. And great job, Diggs, and almost being $1 million a month. Like that's pretty unbelievable. I wrote that down too. Hold on, I do pay attention. That was impressive. And then Dominic at 291 and Elizabeth at 214. Like you have some unbelievable freaking numbers. I'll tell you that right now. But I will tell you that as a leader in anything, and I think I'm like most human beings, if your intentions are to get me to be better, and I believe you care about my success, and I believe and you keep your emotions in check with me, dude, we're good. But if I don't believe that and you're not consistent in your work, I had guys that work here, they wake up once a week out of a coma and they bark at people. I'm like, bro, you've been gone for 6 days. Shut your mouth. Go back to sleep. Let the adults be in charge. So that's my best advice on the structure and the support. And also, even in your rules, you could see it. Like, this is why we do it. Like, we're doing it because we're trying to help you get better. Man, if somebody's upset with structure that they genuinely believe is trying to get them better and they believe in your motives and you work hard and you care, man, because I've messed around with them both. I said that to those guys. I said, you're lucky. Dude, I love y'all, but I would have been like, yo, sell some life insurance. Call people off a napkin. I don't care. Marissa taught you a lot more about product and stuff I ever would have been. I'm like, I don't know. It dies, they pays. Just get on the phone and call some people up. Not that that's great either. I'm just saying, like, we have so much support throughout the company. And you guys have a lot of momentum. And the true last thing I'll say is to have a couple hundred people on a call. That's impressive at any point in time, anywhere. There are companies across the country been in this business for 30 years, and a huge day would be for them to get 100 people on any national call. So I appreciate letting me jump on with your team. I really do.
Well, Shawn, thanks so much for getting on with us. Like I said, we know that, you're busy, and we're going to get some people in that mentorship program because obviously you can help us a ton. So we're just so thankful for you and your time, and obviously for creating the company that allows us to help our families. So thank you so much. And guys, I will see you back on this call in 2 weeks and hopefully see all of you at Ignite. Have a good night, guys.